Well, hello and welcome back. Tonight we're looking at a Springfield Armory pistol, and this 1911 right here is a fine example of the pistols that were produced at the Springfield Armory prior to World War I. Now, I'm not going to go into the history of the 1911 and the production at Springfield Armory in this video. I'm going to have to do that in another video. This one here I wanted to take and just go over the history of the Springfield Armory itself, since I'm not sure of how aware my entire audience is of Springfield Armory. I thought it would be best just to give you a brief rundown of the history. Now, the way Springfield Armory worked out is Colonel Henry Knox, who was General George Washington's chief of artillery, was sent to locate a place that would be good to set up an armory. And he was quoted as saying the plain above Springfield is perhaps one of the most proper spots on every account. And the reason for that being that it was located at the town of Springfield was located at the intersection of major highways and of the Connecticut River. And it was far enough upstream to be safe from enemy attack. Now, Springfield was also a great location for resources. There was water power, good skilled labor base there, and there were also plenty of supplies, commodities located in that area. Now, the field or the plain where it was located was a training field for militias since the 1600s. So in 1777, the actual Springfield Armory was formed, and by the 1780s, it was a major arms and ammunition depot. Now, some of the other notable notes in Springfield Armory's history, it was the site of Shays' Rebellion in 1787. And another thing about Springfield Armory was in 1794, the U.S. government decided to manufacture its own rifles. And it did it at two different armories, of course, one being Springfield and the other one being Harper's Ferry. Now, in 1795, there were 220 flintlock muskets that were produced there. And Springfield Armory was also the site of a lot of innovation. Now, Thomas Blanchard made the first lathe for rifle stocks at Springfield Armory. And Springfield Armory was also an innovator during the early years of interchangeability of parts. And the military, of course, wanted to see the pistols, or I should say the rifles, have interchangeable parts as opposed to hand fitting of everything. It would be cheaper, they thought, and as of course they were right, to take and make pistols so parts could be taken out and replaced, instead of having to throw the whole the whole rifle away. Now, Springfield Armory designed the Model 1903 Springfield rifle, of course, and they produced 843,000 of those by the time the U.S. entered World War I, and they produced another 265,000 during World War I. And then in 1919, they hired a young John Garand at age 31, and that's when he started working at Springfield Armory. And by 1924, he introduced a rifle that the military approved for further testing, and this became the M1 Garand, and that was adopted by the Army, of course, in 1936. Now, by Vietnam, Springfield Armory was developing machine guns, grenade launchers, and associated equipment that went with those. And but a lot of this stuff was now being built by private contractors, so they were more research and development by that point in time. And then in a very controversial move, Robert McNamara closed Springfield Armory in 1968. And now Springfield Armory is just a museum that you can visit and see this historic site. And the current manufacturer of Springfield Armory pistols and components is, of course, not done by the original U.S. government. It's now a private manufacturer. So totally unrelated, just the same name. So there you go. That's just a basic rundown of the history of Springfield Armory. And thought that might be important for you to know before we go into the section of the 1911s, if you don't already know that. All right, so thanks for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed this short historic journey of the very famous Springfield Armory. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good evening.